It was a big day for Raj Malhotra. He was the CEO of a new tech company, and today, he would meet rich investors who could take his company to the next level. The meeting was at a five-star hotel in Mumbai. Cameras were flashing, people were networking, and the room was full of expensive suits and smiles. Raj arrived in his black luxury car. He wore a designer suit, shiny black shoes, and a watch worth more than someone's yearly salary. His face was serious. He walked like he owned the place. Everyone moved out of his way. Inside the hotel, young startup founders were waiting to meet investors. One by one, they introduced their ideas. Raj didn't care about them. He thought he was better than all of them. He only cared about one thing: money. Then, something strange happened. A man entered the room quietly. He wasn't wearing an expensive suit. His clothes were simple, clean but basic. He was tall, dark-skinned, and had kind eyes. He smiled at everyone as he walked in. His name was Mr. Elijah. Nobody knew much about him. He didn't talk loudly. He didn't carry a laptop or bodyguards. But when he entered, 3 top investors stood up and shook his hand with respect. Raj noticed this. He frowned. "Who is this guy?" he asked his assistant. "I'm not sure, sir," the assistant replied, "but I think he's from South Africa. He invests in global tech and education." Raj scoffed. "Look at his clothes. Doesn't look like he has much money." The assistant didn't reply. Soon, it was time for the main pitch. Raj was called on stage. He confidently showed slides, spoke perfect English, and made bold promises about his company. People clapped. After the pitch, it was time to greet the investors. One by one, Raj shook hands with them. Then, Mr. Elijah came forward. He extended his hand, smiling warmly. Raj paused. He looked at Elijah's hand, then looked at his face. For a moment, everything was quiet. People were watching. Cameras were rolling. And then, Raj put his hands behind his back. He didn't shake Elijah's hand. A few people gasped. One investor looked shocked. Elijah's smile faded just a little. Raj said coldly, "I'm not sure who you are. Maybe you're in the wrong room." There was silence. Elijah slowly put his hand down. He didn't argue. He didn't look angry. He just looked disappointed. Then, he said something very softly. "You'll remember this moment for the rest of your life." Raj laughed. "I doubt that." Elijah nodded, turned around, and walked away. But as he walked out of the hall, he pulled out a phone. He made a short call. He spoke only one sentence. "I've made my decision. Pull out." He didn't say more. Then he cut the call and left the building. Back in the hotel, Raj continued smiling, but some investors looked uneasy. Something had shifted. Something felt off. The next day, Raj called his assistant in a panic. "Why did Mr. Khanna cancel the deal?" "I don't know, sir. He just said he's not interested anymore." Later that week, 2 more investors dropped out. They didn't give a reason. Raj's company shares started falling. People were talking behind his back. Whispers, rumors, silence. In his office, Raj watched a news video online. It was about global investors changing direction. In the middle of the video, he saw Mr. Elijah standing with world leaders, receiving an award, and talking about helping startups in poor countries. Raj sat back in his chair. His heart was heavy. For the first time, he felt something he had never felt before: regret. He remembered the words, "You'll remember this moment for the rest of your life." And now, he understood what they meant. Many years earlier, in a dusty township near Cape Town, a 7-year-old boy named Elijah Nkosi sat on a wooden crate outside a tiny one-room house. The roof leaked when it rained. The floor was bare earth, but Elijah's eyes were bright because he held a torn paperback called "Build Your Own Future." His mother, Zola, worked 2 jobs, cleaner by day, street food seller by night. Every evening she washed Elijah's feet, kissed his forehead, and said the same line: "My son, your skin is dark, but your light is strong. Let no one dim it." He believed her. 2. Lessons in a library. At 13, Elijah discovered the city library. It had cracked windows and old computers, yet it felt like a palace. While other teens played soccer outside, Elijah read. He loved stories of inventors, scientists, and business leaders. The librarian, Mrs. Naidoo, noticed the quiet boy who stayed until closing time. One day she asked, "Why do you read so much?" Elijah answered, "Books are free mentors. They teach me what rich schools won't." Mrs. Naidoo smiled and unlocked a back room filled with donated books not yet sorted. "Help me organize these," she said, "and you may borrow as many as you like." From that day, Elijah's world exploded. He learned coding from an outdated Java manual, economics from a used high school text, and public speaking by reading speeches aloud to empty chairs. 3. The first pitch. At 17, Elijah entered a city science fair. He built a small solar-powered phone charger using scrap metal and broken panels from a trash heap. Judges walked past, unimpressed by his simple stand, until the charger rescued a judge's dead phone in real time. Elijah won second prize, a scholarship to a local college. Reporters asked how he created the device. He said, "Need is the best teacher. When my mother's phone dies, she uses customers. I solved her problem first, then showed the world." The quote made the evening news. Investors took notice, but Elijah stayed quiet. He knew attention could vanish as fast as it arrived. 4. College, code, and closed doors. College life was hard. Some students mocked his clothes. A professor once assumed he was a janitor and asked him to empty a trash bin. Elijah did it without complaint, then returned to class and scored the top grade on a programming test. At night, he freelanced online, fixing websites for small fees. Each dollar went into a secret account labeled Freedom Fund. One semester, he applied for an internship at a famous tech company. The recruiter frowned at his accent and said the spots were already filled. Elijah thanked her politely and walked away, but not before memorizing every question she had planned to ask. He researched the answers and stored them in a folder named Next Time. 5. The first connection. During a free workshop, Elijah met Dr. Aisha Bello, a Nigerian-British AI researcher visiting Cape Town. She watched him debug a robot arm that all the other students had given up on. After class, she said, "You see patterns others miss. Call me if you ever need guidance." Elijah did call. 2 years later, by then he had built an app that taught kids math through local languages. Dr. Bello invested a small sum and introduced him to her circles in London and Dubai. That one introduction started a chain. Each time Elijah met a mentor, he delivered results before asking for more help. His network grew quietly, like roots under a tree. 6. The test of character. Money finally came when his education app was bought by an international foundation. Elijah could have bought fancy cars, but he still rode public buses and lived with his mother until her house was rebuilt, brick by brick, with windows that did not rattle in the wind. When reporters asked why he stayed in the township, he replied, "You water the soil that raised you." Some called him the invisible investor because he dressed modestly, spoke softly, and never let cameras linger on him. Behind closed doors, though, he wrote checks that saved small hospitals and funded girl coding camps across Africa. 7. The Silent Council. Years passed. Elijah joined an informal group of 8 global investors, a silent council that met twice a year in different cities. Each member controlled funds worth billions, but none enjoyed public fame. Their rule was simple: power with purpose. They backed founders who respected people, planet, and profit, always in that order. When Elijah spoke, the council listened. His life story reminded them why their money mattered. Still, he rarely used his full influence. He believed in second chances. 8. One call, heavy cost. Back to the present. The day Raj refused his handshake, Elijah had hoped the proud CEO was simply nervous. He gave him a warm smile, offering friendship. The rejection cut deeper than an insult. It showed contempt, something Elijah had faced all his life but never accepted. Outside the hotel, he phoned the silent council's chairperson. "Raj Malhotra lacks respect," Elijah said. "Recommend withdrawal." The chairperson trusted Elijah's judgment. and sent one message to all connected funds: hold investments in RadTech until further notice. No threats, no noise, just silence. Silence, Elijah knew, can be louder than anger. 9. A mother's voice still guiding. That evening, Elijah visited a free coding lab his foundation supported. He walked among laughing children, fixing a loose cable, handing out snacks, and telling stories of possibility. When one little girl asked, "Sir, are rich people ever mean to you?" Elijah remembered Rav's cold eyes. He knelt and replied, "Sometimes, but my mother says that darkness cannot stop our light." He smiled, the same gentle smile that had unsettled Raj. It held centuries of pain and generations of hope. 10. A storm brewing. Far away, Raj opened email after email, each carrying bad news. Investors re-evaluating, partners stepping back, banks reviewing risk. He felt the ground shift beneath his polished shoes. Elijah's phone lay silent now. The decision was already in motion. The past behind his smile had become the force shaping Rad's future. And the story was just getting started. The week after the investor meeting was quiet, too quiet. Raj Malhotra sat in his glass office on the 18th floor, looking over the city. His company, RadTech, was preparing for its biggest deal yet. Investors had promised millions. The media was calling him India's next tech lion. But something didn't feel right. On Monday morning, his assistant, Karan, entered the room looking nervous. "Sir, Mr. Khanna just cancelled the meeting for Wednesday." Raj raised an eyebrow. "What? He confirmed it last week." "I know. But now he says he's traveling. No new date." Raj frowned. "Fine. Call Mr. Prakash. Confirm Friday's meeting." Karan looked down. "Already did, sir. He cancelled too." Raj stood up. "What the hell is going on?" 1. The silence begins. For the next 2 days, Raj sent emails, made calls, and even messaged investors on WhatsApp. Some replied with polite excuses. Others didn't respond at all. His confidence began to shake. He walked around the office pretending all was well, but inside, his mind was racing. They were all ready to invest. They praised my pitch. What changed? He thought back to the hotel meeting. Every moment played in his head. The applause, the cameras, the smiles, and then the man. That man. You'll remember this moment for the rest of your life. Raj now did remember. He had refused to shake that man's hand. 2. A call that changed everything. Late at night, Raj opened his laptop and searched for the name, Elijah Nkosi. He scrolled past news headlines. Elijah Nkosi donates $50 million to women coders in Kenya. The invisible giant. How a quiet African investor reshaped global tech. From township to tech titan. The untold story of Elijah Nkosi. Raj's mouth went dry. He clicked a video. It showed Elijah standing beside leaders from the UN, Google, and several presidents. Everyone was smiling. Everyone was listening to him. Then, a moment from the video hit Raj hard. The camera showed Elijah shaking hands with Mr. Khanna, then with Mr. Prakash. Both had cancelled on Raj. His hands started shaking. He called them. He realized it now. Elijah had made a call, a single call. And just like that, they were gone. 3. The team feels the heat. At RadTech's next team meeting, the air was heavy. Marketing said their ad budget had been frozen. HR reported 2 resignations. Tech support mentioned investor logins were blocked from the app dashboard. Even junior staff were whispering, "Why are our backers leaving? Something's not right." Raj slammed his fist on the table. "Stop the drama. We're fine." But deep down, he knew they weren't. 4. The media smells blood. Within days, journalists started asking tough questions. A blog post appeared. Why are top investors pulling out of RadTech? On a business talk show, a guest said, "Maybe Mr. Malhotra's leadership isn't as strong as we thought." Raj's phone buzzed nonstop. His PR head said, "Sir, we can do damage control, but we need answers. Why did they leave?" Raj didn't reply. He couldn't explain what he didn't fully understand. He couldn't say, because I refused to shake one man's hand. 5. Flashbacks of pride. That night, alone in his office, Raj looked at his reflection in the glass window. He remembered the awards on his shelf, the interviews, the headlines calling him a genius. And he remembered the small things he ignored. The cleaner he once scolded for walking too slowly. The security guard he never greeted. The intern whose name he never cared to learn. He remembered the look on Elijah's face, not angry, just disappointed. And those words again. You'll remember this moment for the rest of your life. 6. A chance to change? One of Raj's oldest friends, Anaya, called him. She had once been his partner in his first startup before he took full control and pushed her out. Raj, she said gently, I heard what's happening. I don't need your pity, he snapped. This isn't pity, she replied. This is truth. You lost your way. There was a long silence. She continued, you forgot the people behind your success. Maybe. This is your lesson. Then she added one last thing. Do you even know who Elijah Nkosi is? He builds companies with people who respect everyone, from janitor to CEO. Raj didn't sleep that night. 7. A cracked empire. By the end of the week, 3 more deals were dead. One bank froze a credit line. Vendors asked for early payments. And for the first time, Raj's CFO looked worried. Raj sat in his office, staring at his phone. He wanted to call Elijah, to apologize, to explain, to beg for another chance. But he didn't. Pride held him back still. He opened the email draft to Elijah, wrote the words, Mr. Nkosi, I realize now how wrong I was. Then he deleted the message. 8. Somewhere far away. That same day, thousands of miles away, Elijah walked through a field in rural Nigeria. Children ran up to him, laughing. He helped set up a computer lab for their school. A reporter asked him, why do you spend time in places so far from the business world? Elijah smiled and said, because these places teach me what boardrooms forget, humility, respect, and real value. 9. Raj breaks down. That night, Raj finally broke down. He stayed in his office long after everyone had left, lights off, eyes full of tears. He whispered to himself, what have I done? For the first time, Raj Malhotra felt small, not because he lost money, but because he had lost respect. And deep inside, he knew. This was just the beginning of his fall. The sun was rising, but Raj Malhotra hadn't slept. His eyes were tired. His phone screen was blurry. Dozens of emails flashed in red. Urgent. Contract cancelled. Request for refund. Investor exit notice. The empire he built was cracking faster than he could save it. The silence from investors had now turned into complete disconnection. But then, at exactly 7:42 am, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. No caller ID. Something told him to answer. 1. The voice. Hello? Raj said. Voice rough. There was silence on the other end for 3 seconds. Then came a calm, deep voice. Mr. Malhotra. This is Elijah Nkosi. Raj froze. He stood up from his chair without realizing it. Elijah, sir. I was just about to. No need, Elijah interrupted gently. I didn't call to hear apologies. I called to ask a question. Raj swallowed hard. Anything. Why didn't you shake my hand? Raj's throat tightened. He didn't have an answer. Not a real one. I was stressed. I didn't recognize you. It was a busy moment. So you thought I was unimportant because of how I looked? Raj sat down silent. That moment told me everything I needed to know, Elijah said, and I made one call. Raj closed his eyes. I realize now what I've done. I didn't just insult you. I insulted your story, your journey. Elijah was silent. Then he asked, do you want to fix this, Mr. Malhotra? Raj almost shouted, yes, more than anything. Then listen closely. 2. The test. Elijah didn't offer money. He didn't offer connections. He gave Raj a task. There's a school in a village near Nashik, Elijah said. They've been waiting 2 years for working computers. You built Ray Tech on coding. Help them, for free. Raj blinked. You want me to donate systems? No, Elijah said. I want you to go yourself. Sit with the students. Teach them. Set up the lab. Fix it with your own hands. Raj didn't know what to say. You lost something, Raj. Not money, but purpose. You'll find it again in that classroom. Then Elijah hung up. No goodbye. No promise. Just silence. 3. The journey. 2 days later, Raj stood outside a small school in rural Maharashtra. No camera crew. No business suit. Just him, a few technicians, and dusty boxes of equipment. The principal greeted him with folded hands and a surprised smile. Are you really the Mr. Malhotra? Raj nodded, embarrassed. He entered the classroom. The walls were cracked, the desks were broken, but the children inside were smiling, eyes full of curiosity. For the next 5 hours, Raj sat cross-legged on the floor, teaching them how to open laptops, how to write simple code, how to use a mouse. Their joy lit up the room. And for the first time in years, Raj smiled without faking it. 4. The boy with no shoes. One boy, Arjun, had no shoes but asked the smartest questions. Raj noticed how fast he learned, how he helped other kids. During lunch, Raj sat beside him. You're very clever, he said. Arjun smiled. I want to make games one day, but Papa says we can't afford a computer. Raj looked down at his own expensive watch, then took it off. Sell this, he told the principal. Buy a laptop for Arjun. 5. The letter. After 2 days, Raj returned to Mumbai, tired, dusty, but peaceful. At his office, a letter was waiting. It had no stamp, no logo, just a note inside. You did well. One act does not erase the past, but it opens the door to a better future. E. Attached was a printed email. Investor alert. Council recommends reconsidering Ray Tech freeze. Raj's hands shook. It wasn't approval, but it was a signal. The wall was not permanent. There was still hope. 6. Cleaning house. The next day, Raj called an emergency meeting. He didn't speak like a CEO this time. He spoke like a human. I was arrogant, he said. I disrespected people. I made decisions based on pride. That ends today. He paused. I don't expect instant forgiveness, but from now on, we'll build this company differently. Then he announced something shocking. From today, every rag tech manager will mentor one underprivileged student, and 10% of company profit will go toward rural tech education. People clapped slowly at first, then louder. One employee whispered, he's changing. 7. A message from Elijah. That night, Raj received a short video. It showed Elijah in a dusty field again, this time planting a tree. He looked into the camera and said, change doesn't start with a tweet. It starts with dirt under your fingernails. I saw that in you this week. Don't stop. 8. A different kind of victory. Weeks passed. Slowly, investors returned. Not all, but enough. More importantly, Raj's team began working with more heart. They respected each other more. They listened more. Even junior staff had a voice now. And when media asked Raj how he turned things around, he simply said, I shook a hand I once refused, and it shook my soul. 9. Far away, a smile. In South Africa, Elijah watched the interview. He didn't smile big, but a quiet peace passed across his face. Beside him, a little girl learning to type asked, Uncle Elijah, do people ever really change? He replied, some don't, but some do. And when they do, they light up the world. Rag Tech had survived the storm, just barely. 3 investors returned. A few clients renewed their contracts, but many remained silent. Some even warned others in the industry. Be careful with Ray Tech. The founder is difficult. Raj had to accept it. Trust once broken takes time to rebuild. Still, he didn't give up. He started showing up at every team meeting. He started replying to junior emails himself. He had coffee with the cleaning staff and remembered their names. One day, he even sat with the office security guard and asked about his family. The man smiled and said, "Sir, you're different now. We all feel it." 2. An invitation arrives. One morning, Raj received a letter in a black envelope. Inside was a card. "You are invited to the Global Tech Humanity Summit, Cape Town, South Africa. Keynote speaker, Elijah Nkosi. Date, October 2nd. Raj stared at the invite. It wasn't just a tech event. It was Elijah's event. This was a sign. But was it a test or a second chance? 3. The nervous flight. On the plane to South Africa, Raj was quiet. He didn't bring his assistant. No PR team. No luxury suit. Just himself, a small notebook, and a mind full of guilt and growth. During the flight, he wrote something on paper. He didn't know if he'd read it out loud, but he needed to write it. 4. The summit begins. The summit hall was grand. World leaders, tech founders, and young students all sat together. The stage was decorated with African art and symbols of equality. Raj entered quietly and sat in the back. Elijah stood on stage and began his speech. Tech is not just code, it's character. Progress is not just profit, it's people. The crowd clapped. Raj's heart beat faster. Then Elijah paused and looked toward the audience. "Years ago, a man insulted me with silence. But today, he's here. He has walked a hard road. And I believe in second chances." He smiled. "Mr. Raj Malhotra, would you join me on stage?" 5. The speech no one expected. Raj walked slowly to the stage. His palms were sweaty. His voice almost failed. But he took a deep breath and began. "My name is Raj Malhotra. I once believed success was about power, control, and praise. I forgot to listen. I forgot to respect. I forgot to be human." The room was silent. He continued. "One day I refused to shake a hand, not because I hated the man, but because I had too much pride. That single moment cost me everything. But it also saved me, because it woke me up." He paused and looked at Elijah. "I thank the man I disrespected, because he taught me more in silence than others did in speeches." The room stood up, a standing ovation. 6. A quiet conversation. After the event, Raj found Elijah near a garden behind the hall. There were no cameras, no reporters, just two men and the truth between them. Raj said softly, "I don't deserve your kindness." Elijah replied, "That's where you're wrong. You didn't deserve it, but you chose it. That's the difference." Raj asked, "Do you trust me now?" Elijah nodded slowly. "I trust the man you're becoming." They finally shook hands. This time, firmly, respectfully, equally. 7. Seeds of new purpose. Back in India, Raj didn't just return to work, he returned with purpose. He created a new division inside RightTech called Code for Change. The goal? Free coding programs for village youth, disabled children, and street kids. He hired Arjun, the boy from the village, as an intern. He launched a podcast, not about tech, but about empathy in business. He even visited old friends, including Anaya, and said words he never used before. "I'm sorry. You were right. Thank you." And slowly, people began to respect him again, not for his power, but for his progress. 8. Awards don't matter like they used to. Months later, Raj received an award, Humanity and Business Leader of the Year. He smiled politely, but he no longer chased trophies. He gave the award to his team and said, "This belongs to all of you, the ones who stood by me, even when I didn't deserve it." 9. The real victory. Late one night, Raj sat on his office balcony with a cup of chai. He looked at the city lights again. This time, he wasn't looking for his name on billboards or news headlines. He was thinking of Arjun's smile, of Elijah's forgiveness, of the village school now teaching 100 kids how to code, and he whispered to himself, "Respect is not something you demand. It's something you earn, one choice at a time." It had been almost a year since Raj Malhotra refused to shake that hand. That one moment had destroyed his pride and rebuilt his soul. He had changed. His company had changed. But one thing still remained: his past. No matter how much success he now found, Raj knew deep inside there were people he had hurt, people he never said sorry to, and it was time to face them. 1. A journal of regret. One rainy evening, Raj sat alone in his home office. In front of him was an old leather notebook, his personal journal. He had not opened it in years. He slowly flipped through the pages. Pages filled with old goals, numbers, plans, and arrogance. But in the back, he saw a page he had forgotten. It was titled, People I Left Behind, and there were names. Anaya, ex-employee. Mr. Khan, watchman. Vivek, college friend. Ramesh, office tea guy. Mother. Raj closed the book. He couldn't run anymore. He had to look in the mirror. 2. The visit to Anaya. Anaya once worked at Raytech. She was smart, kind, and had new ideas. But Raj had insulted her in a meeting, in front of everyone, and made her resign. He never called her after that. Now, he stood at her doorstep. When she opened the door, she froze. Raj, I'm not here for work, he said. I'm here to say, I was wrong. Anaya looked confused. After all these years, I should have respected your ideas. Instead, I crushed your confidence. I see that now. She stayed quiet for a moment, then softly said, Thank you. It means something. They didn't talk long, but when Raj left, he felt lighter. 3. The watchman's gift. Years ago, Mr. Khan, the watchman of Raj's building, had once asked him for help with his son's school fees. Raj had brushed him off, too busy to care. Now Raj found him working at a mall much older. Khan Saab, Raj said. Mr. Khan looked up, shocked. I came to apologize, Raj said. I failed you when you trusted me. Khan smiled sadly. My son works now. He forgives you. But I don't forgive myself, Raj replied. So please allow me to support his next dream, whatever it is. Khan's eyes filled with tears. He nodded. And Raj gave him an envelope with a scholarship form. 4. The broken friendship. Next on the list was Vivek, Raj's college roommate. They had started their first business idea together, but when Raj got his first big investor, he left Vivek behind and didn't look back. Vivek had never spoken to him since. Raj found him running a small coaching center in Pune. They met at a chai stall. I stole your dream, Raj said. You built your own. I built mine, Vivek replied. But you deserve to be part of the journey. Vivek smiled. It's never too late to walk together again. Raj didn't expect those words. They laughed like old times. And Raj donated 10 computers to Vivek's center without saying a word. 5. The one person who was always there. Raj returned home, exhausted yet peaceful. There was one name left. Mother. She had always stood by him, through his rise and fall. But during his peak ego days, Raj had stopped calling her regularly. He once even missed her birthday for a business event. She never complained. Raj walked into her room. She was sitting with her knitting. Ma, he said, sitting beside her. Yes, beta? I'm sorry. For what? She asked, surprised. For becoming so big that I forgot to be small. For forgetting the woman who taught me how to stand. She touched his face. You were lost, but now you are found. That's enough for me. Raj hugged her tightly. 6. The mirror. That night, Raj looked into his bathroom mirror. For the first time, he didn't see a businessman. He saw a man who fell, broke, rebuilt, and learned. He whispered to his reflection. You were wrong. You were proud. But you didn't give up. And that is your redemption. 7. A call from Elijah. As if the universe had heard him, his phone buzzed. It was Elijah. Raj, he said, I heard what you've been doing. How? Work travels. I wanted you to know. You're not just changing your world. You're changing mine too. Rav smiled. It had been almost a year since Raj Malhotra refused to shake that hand. That one moment had destroyed his pride and rebuilt his soul. He had changed. His company had changed. But one thing still remained, his past. No matter how much success he now found, Raj knew deep inside. There were people he had hurt, people he never said sorry to, and it was time to face them. 1. A journal of regret. One rainy evening, Raj sat alone in his home office. In front of him was an old leather notebook, his personal journal. He had not opened it in years. He slowly flipped through the pages, pages filled with old goals, numbers, plans, and arrogance. But in the back, he saw a page he had forgotten. It was titled, People I Left Behind, and there were names. Anaya, ex-employee. Mr. Khan, watchman. Vivek, college friend. Ramesh, office tea guy. Mother. Raj closed the book. He couldn't run anymore. He had to look in the mirror. 2. The visit to Anaya. Anaya once worked at Raytech. She was smart, kind, and had new ideas. But Raj had insulted her in a meeting, in front of everyone, and made her resign. He never called her after that. Now he stood at her doorstep. When she opened the door, she froze. Raj, I'm not here for work, he said. I'm here to say, I was wrong. Anaya looked confused. After all these years, I should have respected your ideas. Instead, I crushed your confidence. I see that now. She stayed quiet for a moment, then softly said, Thank you. It means something. They didn't talk long, but when Raj left, he felt lighter. 3. The watchman's gift. Years ago, Mr. Khan, the watchman of Raj's building, had once asked him for help with his son's school fees. Raj had brushed him off, too busy to care. Now, Raj found him working at a mall, much older. Khan Saab, Raj said. Mr. Khan looked up, shocked. I came to apologize, Raj said. I failed you when you trusted me. Khan smiled sadly. My son works now. He forgives you. But I don't forgive myself, Raj replied. So please allow me to support his next dream, whatever it is. Khan's eyes filled with tears. He nodded. And Raj gave him an envelope with a scholarship form. 4. The broken friendship. Next on the list was Vivek, Raj's college roommate. They had started their first business idea together, but when Raj got his first big investor, he left Vivek behind and didn't look back. Vivek had never spoken to him since. Raj found him running a small coaching center in Pune. They met at a chai stall. I stole your dream, Raj said. You built your own. I built mine. Vivek replied. But you deserve to be part of the journey. Vivek smiled. It's never too late to walk together again. Raj didn't expect those words. They laughed like old times. And Raj donated 10 computers to Vivek's center without saying a word. 5. The one person who was always there. Raj returned home, exhausted yet peaceful. There was one name left. Mother. She had always stood by him, through his rise and fall. But during his peak ego days, Raj had stopped calling her regularly. He once even missed her birthday for a business event. She never complained. Raj walked into her room. She was sitting with her knitting. Mai, he said, sitting beside her. Yes, Beta? I'm sorry. For what? She asked, surprised. For becoming so big that I forgot to be small. For forgetting the woman who taught me how to stand. She touched his face. You were lost. But now you are found. That's enough for me. Raj hugged her tightly. 6. The mirror. That night, Raj looked into his bathroom mirror. For the first time, he didn't see a businessman. He saw a man who fell, broke, rebuilt, and learned. He whispered to his reflection. You were wrong. You were proud. But you didn't give up. And that is your redemption. 7. A call from Elijah. As if the universe had heard him, his phone buzzed. It was Elijah. Raj, he said, I heard what you've been doing. How? Word travels. I wanted you to know. You're not just changing your world. You're changing mine too. Raj smiled. I still don't feel worthy sometimes. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to feel grateful. Raj Malhotra was no longer the man people once feared. He had become someone people listened to, not because of power, but because of wisdom. Years had passed since that day. The day you refused to shake the hand of a black investor. The moment that changed everything. Now, Raj stood at the edge of his life's biggest question. What will I leave behind? 1. The quiet celebration. It was Ray Tech's 20-year anniversary. But this time, there were no loud music events, no big celebrity guests. Instead, Raj invited his team, old partners, and local school kids to a simple park near the company. There were food stalls, music from young bands, and storytelling corners. On a small wooden stage, Raj gave a short speech. A company is not built by one man. It's built by the hands we shake, the hearts we touch, and the chances we take. He pointed to his young staff. This is not just your future. It's your story to write. 2. A special surprise. After the speech, Raj's assistant handed him a small envelope. Inside was a letter. It read, "Dear Raj, we're proud to invite you as a guest speaker to the United Nations Global Summit on Equality in Business. You have shown the world what true leadership looks like, through failure, change, and compassion. Please join us in New York this November. UN Global Board." Raj sat down slowly. He couldn't believe it. From public shame to global recognition, from ego to empathy. He smiled softly, folded the letter, and placed it in his coat pocket. 3. The school in the village. A few weeks later, Raj visited the small village where Arjun, the young boy he once ignored, now worked as a mentor. Raj had funded a school there, not with marble floors or giant statues, but with computers, books, and real teachers. The children surrounded him, calling, "Uncle Raj, Uncle Raj." He sat with them under a tree and said, "You know when I was at your age?" They said, "What?" "Selfish," he laughed. The children giggled. But one day, he continued, "Someone showed me what it means to be human again. And now, I want to pass that gift to you." He opened his bag and gave each child a notebook that read, "Write your story. You are the author of your life." 4. The final project. Back in the city, Raj called his team for one last big announcement. "I'm starting something new," he said. Everyone listened closely. "It's not a company. It's not for profit. It's for people." He unveiled the name, the Human Code Foundation, a global movement to teach compassion, coding, and character. Its goal was to help underprivileged youth all over the world learn digital skills, while also learning about kindness, responsibility, and respect. 5. A letter to himself. One evening, Raj sat at his desk and wrote a letter, not to someone else, but to his younger self. "Dear young Raj, you wanted success so badly. You were hungry to be number one. But you forgot something. You forgot why you started. You forgot the boy who once dreamed, not of power, but of purpose. You made mistakes. You hurt people. You lost yourself. But here's the good news. You came back, and the world forgave you, because you chose to grow. Never forget again. Love, your future self." 6. A final visit. Raj traveled one last time to South Africa to meet Elijah Nkosi again. They sat near the same hilltop where Elijah once built his first school. Raj handed him a document. "What's this?" Elijah asked. "I've added your name to the Human Code Foundation as global co-founder." Elijah smiled deeply. "We began with a broken handshake, and now we build with open arms." They looked at the sun setting in the distance. "Do you think the world is changing?" Raj asked. "No," Elijah replied. "You changed, and that's how the world begins to follow." 7. The legacy. Years later, after Raj passed away peacefully in his sleep, people all over the world posted photos and stories about him. "He gave me my first laptop. He said sorry when no one else did. He believed in me. He changed because he cared." At the entrance of Raj Tech, there is now a small statue, not of a man with a briefcase, but of two hands, finally shaking. Below the statue is written, "Respect is not given by wealth. It is earned by truth." Raj Malhotra,